This is SuperNET Radio.
All right, Kevondo back for the second time around today. Again, 2nd of February, and going to have bass guitar man Whit is his name. Likes to be called Whit when you interview him. His handle is bass guitar man. He's a developer of Opal coin. I got in touch with him just a few minutes ago, and he's right on the cusp of getting a deal done, some kind of a big deal that involves Opal coin, and he said that he needs another few minutes, and we'll grant them that, of course. And we try to be flexible here on SuperNet Radio with all this internet broadcasting is new to us. You know, we're not of the broadcasting world. We're children of the SuperNet, and we'll find out what that news is. And, of course, we're going to do a thing about colored coins. I got some questions about that, and I'm really anxious to do this show because we're going to use a different kind of a format where, I really don't know anything about them, really. So I'm going to ask questions, and he's going to educate me and explain to me what they are. And I'll ask questions, hopefully, that will enlighten everybody. If you do have questions yourself, get up on the chat on SuperNet Radio, and that's that a non-chat shout box, I guess we call it. It's right on the SuperNet Radio, the shout box, and you can get your questions in there, and we'll get Whit to answer those as the show goes on and as we can fit them in if you got any questions that aren't clear to you. So we're just really waiting for Whit to call in. While we're doing that, I was just looking at this chart of Bitcoin Dark, and it's all of a sudden, and I keep saying, watch out for these pump and dumpers and all these things, keep your head on a swivel, and we got a drop in the last hour or so, a couple of hours, down to 452,000. So, which leads me to believe that it looks like a dump. So have we got a pump and then a dump on this? I don't know. Here's Bass Guitar Man calling in.
Hey.
Hey, Bass Guitar Man.
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'll call you Whit during this interview. Is that good for you?
Perfect.
Okay. How was, I know you made a trip to Vegas. How'd things go?
Good. I got into quarterfinals for debate.
Yeah. You know what I always wondered about that for people out there, Whit's on the debate team. How does a debate work when you have you have a contest? You debate each other. How do they score it? How do they decide who's going on and who's it's the end for?
Well, there's 6 preliminary rounds, and then after that, the people with the best, the 32 people with the best records move on.
Right. Now, how do you establish a record? You have judges, you get a topic, and 2 people debate, and then the judges, what do they judge you on?
Judges basically judge on how well you convince them.
Pretty subjective, huh?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just always wondering about that. So you just get on there and you learn techniques of that. Yeah, it's actually something you can study.
Yeah. There's a lot of strategy and just ways to trick your opponent and stuff. So it's fun. I like arguing.
Well, I'll tell you what. Probably everyone will be on their guard now out there in the crypto world when they're dealing with you. So listen, I made a preliminary announcement here and that we're a little late getting on because of this deal. Were you able to consummate this deal, or can you tell us anything about it?
We're being added to Coin Gateway, Opal Coin is, and that will be added into the wallet, so you can pay with almost most cryptocurrencies directly from the Opal coin wallet with Opal, and it'll auto-convert for you.
What's this Coin Gateway?
Coin Gateway is a website that allows you to instantly exchange cryptocurrencies. So you can send them Opal, and they'll give you Bitcoin back. So now you'll be able to instantly exchange any cryptocurrency on their platform for Opal and the other way around. So
that's exactly what the multi-gateway does in SuperNet, correct?
Yeah. It's just it will eventually be moving over to that platform. But for now, even though it's centralized, it's a great way that, like, for example, if a store only accepts Bitcoin, now you can pay for with Opal for that product instantly. And they'll send the owner of the store Bitcoin, and you just pay with Opal.
Right, and they do that for multiple currencies, this Coin Gateway?
Oh, it's around 20-ish coins that you can exchange with.
Oh, 20 coins. Oh, okay, I got you. It sounds like it's a knockoff of Verabit.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of similar. I'm not sure which came first.
Well, Verabit was out this past June, July.
Yeah, Verabit probably came first, and it probably started it. It's slightly different. It's not like wallet-based. This is more of just a web interface, and they also have merchant services, so you can accept any coin. But yeah, they're pretty similar.
Right. I know what they did. I was active in the Veracoin community for a while, and I know that the way the Verabit worked was they got a fairly large investor or supporter, and they created a pool of Bitcoin, and they you would it's right as you say, it's right in the wallet, in the Veracoin wallet. You click on Verabit, and you enter in the number of and it only worked for Bitcoin, and you put in the amount of Bitcoin, and you put in the number of Bitcoin and the merchant address, and then you clicked on it, and it converted that to Veracoin and sent it off, and it happened fairly quickly. The speed was really amazing, because what they were doing was this large pool of Bitcoin would get the transaction and send the Bitcoin on immediately.
Yeah, that's pretty much how this one works, so I guess it's pretty similar.
Right. Now, have you tried some tests? How fast is it? That's the whole big thing, right?
I haven't tried their V2. It used to be you had to wait for one confirmation, but now I believe it's instant. So, hopefully it works well. We're going to do some tests before we release anything.
Okay, so we're getting the scoop here on the special show tonight. That's great. Hey, I see. I'm looking at the picture on your Skype. It's got that a nice little kitten on there. Did you happen to watch the Kitten Bowl yesterday?
No, I didn't.
The Kitten Bowl, I think. They've been doing the Puppy Bowl on Super Sunday for several years now, where they have a bunch of puppies and they run around. And they started the Kitten Bowl last year. I think the Kitten Bowl is a lot more fun. So anyway, just this little aside there. So finish up on the debate thing. This is like the national championships?
No, it's not. It's just a not local tournament, but smaller tournament.
Yeah, well, it was in Vegas. I thought it was like a real big deal.
No, it was just at a school in Las Vegas. So nothing giant. It's still, I guess, kind of important, but nothing major.
Okay. We'll be looking for you in the majors. All right, so listen, let's start about these colored coins. I've been confused about it. Now, exactly what is a colored coin?
All right, so yeah, let's talk about colored coins.
Okay. So what's the deal? What's different between a colored coin and a regular coin? What makes them different?
A colored coin basically is a regular coin, but you then add value to it by basically saying this represents something. So right now it's not real. It's in alpha. You're not able to use a GUI for it. But basically, what you're able to do is you're able to take a single Opal coin, and then you can create an asset out of it. So whenever you send someone that specific coin, they receive that asset, and that asset can represent anything.
Wow, that's a lot to get your head around.
Yeah. So basically, if you imagine the next asset exchange, except cheaper, faster, and while the asset exchange has a lot of benefits like volume and a bunch of other things, then Opal colored coins are more there to for actual smart property and things like that.
So the coin and this kind of is it a program? How is this made possible to do? So basically, you get a regular coin that could be proof of work or proof of stake or what have you. Just a crypto coin.
Yeah, well, any Opal coin. And then we're actually creating a web wallet that will most likely be trustless. So we don't have access to any of your coins, and it's just going to be a simple thing. So you just click Create Asset, type in all the values like the name, how many of them, and then you're able to send those assets to anyone. And it creates a lot of possibilities I can expand on if you want.
So basically, it's like you say. I mean, having created, I've helped Lutz and I created an SNRN asset. We haven't issued it yet, but it has been created, so I know the choices that you have. So it's basically like the next asset exchange.
Yeah, but we're aiming it for more rather than as investments. We're more focused on smart property, crowdfunding, and things like that.
All right. Well, okay. So that's where the expansion on uses comes into that you just mentioned. Why don't you go forward with that?
Yeah, sure. It's not going to be in our beta release, but very soon we will be. After our beta release, we're going to be releasing a really easy to use crowdfunding tool. So you can automatically, whenever someone sends Opal to your address, it automatically gives them an asset until you reach your goal, and then you can, for example, send a t-shirt to each person who has an asset. So it's really easy to be able to crowdfund and raise money for certain causes if you want.
Well, how would you know now? Where does all this where's all this data for information to addresses to send people these whatever you decide for merchandise or whatever? Where's that? How's that interacted? Where is that sent to and from? How does that occur?
We'll probably be using the opacity encrypted messaging, so it's all on blockchain, and that doesn't, just because it's on the blockchain doesn't mean everyone can see it. But that way, you're able to collect addresses and all that without, and everything's decentralized. Colored Coins is on the blockchain. There's nothing centralized about it at all. Okay,
so. What is now, as far as this, you keep mentioning crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if the crowdfunding goal isn't reached? Do you have a goal? Is it set? Most of these crowdfunding things have a goal that you reach. If not, it gets refunded. So it's all two-way. You can send it back. It's refundable.
Well, yeah, on the blockchain, while it's not exactly easy to see where you sent from, you're always able to see who sent to an address, and so if you don't reach the goal, the web wallet will automatically send it back to whoever sent you the coins, and the assets will be sent back. Since it's all decentralized, that's really easy to do.
All right, and how much does it cost to create one of these? What's the fee to create a colored coin?
It's 0.0001 Opal. So it's extremely cheap. Almost anyone can do it compared to the 1,000 Next that it costs to create an asset on the next asset exchange.
Shoot. Boy, you're tough for competition, man. I'll tell you what, that's going to blow the next asset exchange out of the water, won't it?
Well, as I said, we're different target markets. It's not going to be, at least at the beginning, it's not going to have a built-in exchange. You're going to have to, offer it to people. So it's really different target markets. We're not really aiming at securities and investments as much as the next asset exchanges.
All right, so there's no buy and sell. There's no market component to Opal. What do you call it? Opal, what are you calling this?
The project is called Color Core.
Color Core.
Yes.
C-O-R-E. Now, the other thing, I noticed that you spell it differently. You use the R, like the European or British color, C-O-L-O-U-R.
No, we just spell it regular, or the American way.
Okay, because I've seen it. Maybe that's just European spelling it that way. Because
we have global team members, so you might have seen one of us post it like that.
Okay, so this is on the this is in the Opal wallet. It's called Color Core, and
it's not going to be built into the Opal wallet. It's going to be a separate online wallet, sort of like blockchain.info, where you're able to just separate them, so you're not going to accidentally send someone an asset when you're just doing a normal Opal transaction. And eventually that web wallet will be built into the Opal wallet, probably as soon as it's released. But it's not going to be directly built into the Opal wallet.
Have you got an ETA for when it'll be released?
I'd say 2 to 4 weeks, probably. You can test it out with a command line client right now, and that's on our GitHub. But the full GUI, that's being developed by Tom Fife, the developer of Pangea, which is decentralized poker. So both of us are working on that, and it should be released within a reasonable time frame.
Okay, now this concept has been around a while. One of the things that confused me about it is the fact that they had colored coins. Like there's white, black, pink. And so it has nothing to do with the actual color of the coin. It's the fact that the concept of color means you're painting the coin with a value.
Yes, exactly.
Or an ability.
Uh-huh. And eventually, actually, maybe people will even be developing smart property and software. So, like, all you'll have to do is own an asset, and then that will be able to unlock software so you're able to use it. Like, there's unlimited potential for owning an asset like this.
All right, well, that's where we could clear it up a little more for people and for myself. What I don't understand is I can see the usefulness of it, of Color Core, from a sense of ICO and raising money, and the promotional possibilities, and it's inexpensive. And how would you? It's just that. Well, first of all, about that part, you'll set up how many you have, and then assign the color or value to it.
Yeah. And so, basically, we're going to also, in addition to our GUI, we're also going to be releasing an API, which makes it really easy for developers. We're also going to be developing a GUI, so it's API. So it's really easy for developers to integrate colored coin acceptance and all sorts of things into their programs. So it's not going to be as hard as, like, creating custom programs. It's going to be as simple as just adding a few lines of code, and you'll be able to integrate them into your platform.
So you actually have to do some enter code.
That's only if you're developing programs around it, not if you're just using it.
Okay. Well, I'm more thinking about the user.
Yeah, for the user, that's what we're aiming to do with our wallet that we're developing for it. Our main focus is usability. It's not going to be complicated. It's just going to be a few buttons and it's released. Like, it should be as easy as, like, using a normal Opal coin wallet, or even easier than that, because we're aiming for it to be able to be used by everyone. And so I've already released some screenshots of what it's going to look like. But really, with the API, it'll be as easy as just clicking send asset and sending it to an address that a developer gives you. And then that will be able to authenticate you or do something, whatever they want you to do with it.
All right, and again, maybe my confusion is coming because you call them assets. So like I don't see an ICO. I see that as being a tool, which is probably is an asset because you're able to use it for something. When I think asset, I think something like SuperNet or Pangea or JL877 HODL.
Yeah, I guess asset might not be the best word. I think tools, just colored coins, maybe a better word for it. I just use assets because that's what I'm used to with the next asset exchange. But yeah, you're right that they're different things. Colored coins are more of a tool rather than an investment.
Right. So they don't really have any intrinsic value. You could make it worth something. You could assign a value to it.
Yeah, you could even say for example, say whoever owns this asset owns this card. And while that's probably not going to happen anytime in the near future, you're able to assign value to it. And that's where smart property comes into play, which is a whole nother category of blockchain technology. But really, there's unlimited possibilities with these on-blockchain tools.
Is this similar to what that Ponzi was doing with the silver coins, where he issued an asset that was actually represented a silver coin?
I guess you could do something like that. But what smart property tends to be a lot more trustless, where basically, for example, it's not likely it's going to happen anytime soon, but you could literally program a car so it only unlocks to someone who owns the asset. So, colored coins, especially with our API, are going to be a lot easier to use and assign value to. So you could say, this asset, if you turn it in at my store, you'll get a free cookie.
I see. So you would come in with your mobile device. You have an Android wallet. How are things going with the iOS wallet for Opal?
Well, iOS, I actually was on the phone with Apple today. We're figuring out where exactly in the world we're allowed to release it just because of regulation. Some countries don't allow cryptocurrencies. But you should be seeing it on the App Store within about a week maximum.
Great. And do you have an Android app?
Yeah, we have an Android app. That's on the Google Play Store already.
All right. So like you say, with this example you gave as a cookie, you could go right into the store with your Android. Yeah,
3 taps and you're done.
Jeez, that's unbelievable. And then, of course, what does the vendor have to do? The store itself, how do they have to be set up?
We're going to be making a set of tools. We're going to be releasing a merchant app, actually. So that way you're just able to type in how much money you want to accept in USD, and then it'll create a barcode to scan, and then that'll automatically send it. So there's a lot of interesting things coming up with colored coins and Opal in terms of merchant acceptance coming up soon.
Or in the case of a colored coin, they would give you your colored coin, and then the merchant would give him the cookie.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was that they were getting.
Yeah, another thing,
T-shirt, or like you say.
Yeah, and another thing you can do is, for example, you use it as a loyalty program. So, say if you shop at my store, if you make 5 purchases, you'll get a colored coin, which is redeemable for a T-shirt or a free item with your next order. So there's unlimited possibilities with it.
All right, now this sounds similar to Next monetary system there.
Yeah, it's actually pretty similar. I guess the difference with monetary system is both. Monetary system is more to create your own currency. But there are definitely similarities. To be honest, I haven't looked into monetary system too much and into its features, but I've heard about it, and it is kind of similar.
Right, except you can elect several different. There's options with the monetary system where it can be exchangeable, reservable, controllable, mintable. And so
honestly, that kind of control is great for more advanced users. But when I tried to issue a currency, it took me a while just to figure out what stuff means. With colored coins, we're trying to make it as easy as possible.
Right, and not trying to do everything in one step, just be centered on the commercial commerce and interchange.
Yeah, we're going to be developing extra programs, but you're not going to have to deal with all of that stuff in the wallet. Like, you can download a merchant app, but you don't need to know how to use that just to use colored coins.
Okay, so if I went to, once this thing is up and running, I go to the API color core, and I create now I name it. You name it.
Yep, you can store names on the blockchain.
And so how do you stop people from duplicating yours? Is there's a unique identifier? Or?
Yeah, there's like a 32-character string that identifies yours. Sort of like an asset ID on the next asset exchange. And it will also have a name embedded in it, and we're not going to allow you to duplicate a name. While it's possible if you did it manually, it's not going to be possible within the actual wallet.
So you'll get a lot of name squatting, especially because it's so inexpensive.
Possibly, but there's also no limit to the length of it, unlike monetary system and stuff like that. And so, well, name squatting is a problem, and that's actually a good thing I should look into to prevent. There are ways we can stop that, such as manually revoking names and stuff like that.
I see. Okay, so there's still some bugs to be worked out of it a little bit here. Of course,
it's nowhere near perfect at this point, and when we release it in a few weeks, it's still not going to be really complete, and it's a constant development just to get it to a state where we're really ready to release it. But we're still going to release a beta so people can see what we're working on.
Right. Well, one of the things that I've been going through is, and it's not nearly as complicated as coding, but I'm trying to write up the business model and how for SNRN, SuperNet Radio Network, and how the IPO is going to work, and how we're generating revenue streams, and how our search engine optimization works. And I'm trying to write this stuff up to get it out so people can start looking it over. So when we do release the asset, issue it to the general public, they'll have an idea beforehand. And we're kind of like James, where we want to have everything up and working before we ask you to buy into it. So we've got now we've got the 21 stations up and working now. People don't even know what they are. Have the roster of stations. So what I do is, as I'm writing this stuff up, I say, oh, I got to do this. Oh, this needs, all these things come to you. Now, oh, I got to do this before I can do that. And, oh, that could happen too. And that's the same thing that developers go through when they're developing this stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of problems to be worked out. Practicality and just making sure it's not too complicated, but we're going to get all that figured out before. We're not going to release something that doesn't work.
Right. All right, now how now you think that so what with as little as you're charging for this service, how would this generate revenue for Opal? Is it a revenue generating thing, or is it just something that you want to have a value in itself that you can do with Opal coin?
Well, there's a few actual revenue streams for it, and those will go towards Opal token. If anyone's interested in buying it, you should go buy it. But first on our API, that will take, we're not sure on the exact percentage, but maybe 1% of each transaction, which is the same as BitPay and all those services. And there will be an optional percentage donation for every asset you issue. And additionally, on crowdfunding, we'll also probably have a fee. And there's no exact business model yet, but there will definitely be ways where generating revenue, and the more people that use it, the more revenue that's generated.
I see. So I could I could go to the Color Core API, create a coin, name it Kevondo coin, and assign make it worth $5 US dollars.
I guess, yes.
And then if later on the show, if I had a trivia contest, and I could send the winner a Kevondo coin.
Yeah, exactly. And
and then they could go into any store that is equipped with this merchant software and collect their $5.
Well, only if they trust you to actually redeem it for $5.
Well, I would see that's where I wanted to get square on how it would be, where the reservoir of value, what makes these things valuable. So they would have to, so there would be no, so if I wanted to create 500 of them, I wouldn't have to have $2,500 present.
No, you wouldn't. But if you wanted people to accept Kevondo coin at their stores, they'd have to trust you that you have that amount of money back in it, and that anytime they can exchange it for that. So that's really not. So, and for example, if say someone doesn't, that's not really the fault of Opal. It's just you have to do your due diligence. It's just like the asset exchange. You have to trust the asset issuer if you're going to accept it.
Okay, so I create Kevondo coin and I give them away on the air, and then people take these coins and they go to a merchant or somebody who accepts these coins, or a merchant, and because that would be best, because you want to have ubiquitous redeemability.
Yeah.
And they would get their $5. Now then, the merchant would have to trust that I would send them $5.
Yeah, that's basically what you have to do.
Okay, and those transactions would be chargeable, or how would I make that transaction with the merchants when it got redeemed?
Well, they'd contact you, say, hey, we're going to send you 5 Kevondo coins. Here's my PayPal for you to send me $25. That's not on the network. That's more just a transaction between you and the merchant. That's not really built into the colored coin protocol. That's more an external value you give it.
That's something that the creator would have to have all worked out for themselves.
Yes.
And they would have had to contact the vendors and merchants in order that they would accept it. And of course, there'd have to be an incentive for the vendor to accept it as well.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know if that's the best use case for it. I'd say it's more like if on the air, if you answer a trivia question, you get a Kevondo asset, and then you can send that Kevondo asset to anyone. And if you have a Kevondo asset, you can send it to you. You can send it to Kevondo, and then you get a SuperNet T-shirt or something like that.
Or I could convey it to Kevondo's store.
Yeah,
and then you could spend them on the Kevondo store.
Yeah, so like you could spend money on the Kevondo store if you win prizes from SuperNet Radio, stuff like that.
That's where you would spend Kevondo coin.
Yeah.
In addition to other coins.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm just using that as an example to get straight, so everybody could understand how this would work.
Yeah.
Now, how about now when you say smart contracts, what are all of the options? People say, "Oh, smart contracts," and they go, "Oh yeah," but what are the possibilities for smart contracts? All of those things in it that can be a smart contract?
Well, I actually was talking about smart property. Smart property is like the things like, for example, like the car example I gave that unlocks if you have a certain asset. But smart contracts are actually something we're planning on building after we finish the colored coins protocol, because it can be built on top of it. But smart contracts basically are decentralized contracts that execute without like a middleman or anything. So basically, a smart contract could be as soon as A sends 5 opal to B, release 3 assets to A. And it's all decentralized, so you can have a trade between 2 people with no trust needed.
So, so let's take a real-world example of contracts. Let's take the real estate business. If somebody created an asset, say that was let's go to California, Orange County. Orange County creates an asset, and the assets are all colored with an address of a property with descriptions of that property and a price.
Yeah, for example, that would be more smart property than smart contracts. But yeah, you could make it so they could make it so whoever. So basically, the colored coin is the property deed. So whoever owns a asset or colored coin owns the property.
Right. So so they put the.
Just for everyone listening, because I know some people are asking, I'm bass guitar man, lead dev of Opal. Hey, very, very viral.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm just getting into this so much. Yes, it's Kevondo. This is a special show we're doing tonight with Bass Guitar Man. It's a question that I've had several times about colored coins, and I haven't been able to get a good answer on it. And when I interviewed Whit, who is actually Bass Guitar Man, a couple weeks ago, I asked him about it, and he said, well, I could tell that he had something cooking there, but he couldn't talk about it, which is understandable. And then a couple weeks later, this colored coin came out, so I said, now that it's out of the box, how about you come on? So we decided to do this show where we're coming on, and I'm just asking questions from to find out exactly how these things work, how they are. Who first developed this concept of colored coins? Is this it isn't new?
Yeah, sure. The idea was mainly visualized by, I believe, Peter Todd, who is a developer of Bitcoin and also stealth addresses and a bunch of other big things in Bitcoin. And he visualized it. The first people really to bring it to market were Coin Prism, and they basically built it on top of Bitcoin. And the difference, and the reason we believe Opal is a good alternative to it is basically it's cheaper, it's cheaper to use than Bitcoin's colored coins, it's faster than Bitcoin's colored coins, and it's also, we're hoping, a lot easier to use.
So Bitcoin has some colored coins. What are they, and have they been successful? Are they in widespread use, or?
I think Coin Prism, the main people to do colored coins, are still in invite-only mode. So it's definitely not even near mass adoption yet. So it has a lot of potential.
Who developed the Prism?
That's Flavian Charlon. He's from Dublin, Ireland, and I don't know too much about him, but we have been emailing back and forth about colored coins, and they've helped us with a few issues we've had.
I see. So
it's not like a competition. We're really working together on this.
Well, that's the spirit of the SuperNet as well. I spoke to that on my show today about, and there was some talk on it on Slack over the weekend about the, what the difference between Ethereum and BlockNet and SuperNet, and then there was some other entry, MadeSafe. And are they alike? Are they similar? They're the competition, and that's not how we see it. I mean, that's James' big statement. There's no competition in crypto. What's good for one is good for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So is there anything else? What else? I think I've got a pretty good idea of it. So. What would make these colored coins valuable? What gives them value?
What gives them value is what you want to give it value. So we're hoping we get a lot of users, a lot of people that actually see the potential of it. And basically the value comes from the usage, from the use cases. So so who knows what's going to happen in the future to these, but we're really hoping with the release of our crowdfunding platform and all of this, that the value of them is really going to become whatever you want it to be.
So it's really a dual value situation where you assign it you can assign it something that's worth something, like in my case with the Kevondo coin, $5, and you're saying T-shirts or something else, and then there's the value of the fact that it does these things.
Yeah.
It gives you the ability to assign value to this thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about.
Okay. The
value of the Opal, and you have the value of the colored coin.
Right. All the so it's basically another feature.
Yeah.
But presently, it's going to be on an API and a GUI by itself, and then as it's developed, it'll be put into the wallet.
Yeah, the API is for people who want to develop programs around it. The GUI is just for regular users, and most of the features are available with the GUI.
Now, is it open source?
The online wallet will not be, at least not at first, but the protocol is open source, and that's actually already online, and you can access it.
All right. Is it possible to use colored coins with stealth addresses?
Right now they're not. We've run into some issues with it, but we're trying to get it to work.
Okay. So if I know you, you'll find a way.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out. Anything else you want to add that I haven't asked or thought about? I know I've got a pretty good idea of how they work now.
I don't really have anything else to say. Maybe some people online have some questions. I'm not sure.
Yeah, very, very viral is saying something that you really need to think out of the box when you're thinking about it. I don't see... Let me refresh the SuperNet site. I'm getting some things on MixLR, which is the broadcasting thing, or the broadcasting software that we use. Let me cut that off. I want to check to see. Can anyone verify that? That's when they weren't hearing us. Okay, we took care of that early.
People have questions right now, I think.
Okay. Are you seeing some? What are you on your IRC and Slack?
On MixLR.
Okay, let me go to MixLR and check that out. I got to go to...
Here, I can answer some right now.
Okay, yeah, what they are. If you see them on MixLR?
Yeah, so Lutz asked if they're possible with ring signatures, and to be honest, I have no idea. Opal doesn't really have ring signature compatibility at this point, so I can't really answer that one. But if people are interested in it, I can certainly look into it and try to figure it out. And the other question I'm seeing is from Jay from Verycoin, which is how long have I been involved in crypto? And to answer that, I've been involved in crypto since late 2013. I started with Dogecoin, and I was a extended developer. I wasn't on the lead development team, but I did a lot of...
Hey, Whit, could you turn off yours? I'm getting an echo or a repeat or something. Hey, Whit, could you
turn off what?
I'm getting an echo. Turn off your... Are you listening to the show at the same time? Turn off
no.
Oh, what it is? You know what it is? It's me. I went to the... how can I turn that? All right, there we go. Okay, that was me, because I went to the live page and it started up again. The SuperNet Radio started coming up. We got... All right.
But yeah, so I've been involved in crypto since late 2013. At first, I thought Dogecoin was a joke, but then I found out it was real. I played around with that a bit, then I've kind of just been immersed with it ever since. I think it's a fantastic idea. And
right. And Jay, you could, if you wanted to, you could listen to the initial interview we did with Whit a couple weeks ago. It's out on YouTube also. And he goes into depth about that and Opal coin. It's a little raw. There actually were two versions. One got edited and one didn't, and because we had some technical issues. But and he explains that where he was and how he got involved with that whole thing. Not that we don't want to that he wouldn't go over that here, but you can get out there and listen to that, and it really, because there is quite a bit of his story, how he was involved with Doge and another coin called Taco Coin and things of that nature that we covered in the other interviews. So you could get out there and do that. This is let's see. He says it makes sense. Now, how about that? Now, I got a question. What about when you say ring signatures? When Lutzelot says ring signatures, what are those? I'm unfamiliar with that.
What Blueberry and Monero and all those crypto note coins use? It's like probably the best anonymity system out there. And I think Shadow Coin was at least testing with it. I'm not sure on that. Opal Coin isn't compatible with it right now. I haven't really looked into it much. But if people are interested in that and want to see ring signatures in Opal, I can definitely look into that.
But what are ring signatures with? How do they work? To be honest,
I'm not sure exactly. I just know that they basically are a way to delink payments from your account and just pretty much completely anonymously. Probably the best anonymity solution other than what's it called? Teleport.
Okay, maybe I can get someone on to explain about that.
Yeah.
What about educate me myself? What about what is multi-signal and multi-sig, and is that involved with ring signatures? What is multi-sig?
Multi-sig is actually that's not ring signatures. That's a completely different thing. And basically how it works is you can have one address owned by multiple people. Right now it's up to 12. And basically you can say if any 2 of 3 people or any 2 of 6 or any 3 of 5, any combination, agree to send a payment from that address, then a transaction gets approved. So basically, a lot of exchanges are starting to use it, but it's a way so a hacker, it's basically impossible for them to take over an account because they'll need every single person's private key.
I see.
And right now it's not very user intuitive. I have done a few multi-sig transactions just to test it out on the Opal network, for one thing, when I get free time to do it, I'm going to start developing a GUI, so it's really easy to use.
Now, is that somebody developed that? Who came up with that idea and developed? Is that in a coin somewhere, or is it just part of the blockchain 2 technology? Or
pretty much every Bitcoin fork there is. It's been Bitcoin since around like 2012. It uses pay-to-script hashes, which are basically it's what colored coins also use, which basically allows you to program a coin and give it, and kind of like, it has unlimited possibilities, but really it's like you can basically write a program inside of it which basically says if two private keys out of these private keys sign a transaction, it's valid.
Right. You know, another question I've got of a general nature is when Satoshi Nakamoto created this, the first Genesis block, then when other people, how did they get a hold of it? Where do you take a look at this code? And I mean, it's open source. Was there was there any GitHub at that time? Where could you get a look at this code?
I think GitHub was around back then, not nearly as big, and I'm pretty sure it was hosted on GitHub or another one of those sites. It was open source the whole time. So whether it was GitHub, Bitbucket, or another site like that, it was around. And the Genesis block is in the source code. The code that generates the Genesis block is in the source code. But everything's out there. And
it's just this huge hunk of stuff in cyberspace. Yeah, this whole hunk of code out there in cyberspace somewhere.
Yep.
My mind can't. I can't
GitHub,
take.
But it's not like a. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Just like, and that's an issue I have with a lot of closed source coins. It's basically the fact that you can't check to make sure everything's all like legit and real. Satoshi believed in open source, the fact that you can audit the code, you can make sure it's valid, and that's basically the whole point of it.
Okay, now I got a question coming in from Lutzalot is asking, can a particular asset be tied to a colored coin?
I'm guessing he means from the next asset exchange. And I mean, that's certainly possible. Not in a decentralized way, just because there's not really a way to interface between Next and Opal. But I mean, if you wanted to do that, just back it with your word that's saying you can redeem this colored coin for this asset, that's certainly possible.
Okay, but the trust would have to be in the
issuer.
The person who, the issuer of the colored coin who created it. But you see, I think what Lutzel is getting to is that would give some more validity to, more credence to the issuer if, of course, you would have, again, but you would have to trust them. Let's say...
Yeah, for now, I mean, with SuperNet in the future, it's going to be possible to talk between the blockchains. So, right now, it's not possible. That doesn't mean in the near future it won't be.
So there isn't any way to tie the blockchains together is what Lutz is asking.
Not right now, but with the SuperNet, that technology is being developed to talk between them. So, I mean, once that technology is available, sure, we can definitely integrate that.
Make it now, and he says make it blockchain enforced.
Yeah, that's basically a smart contract. So you can say, when this Next account sends blank amount of Next to this address, issue them this amount of assets. So yeah, that's possible. It's not right now, but in the near future it will be.
Lutz says cool. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up. I got a lot of things answered about general questions, and not only that, but colored coin. Now, another question from Lutz. What would make the concept of colored coins, smart properties, more accepted, popular or mainstream?
Honestly, we don't have a clearly defined path right now, and we're actually polling the community for what people want to want from it. But I think basically if people start realizing the possibilities with it, and we see bigger projects starting to use it, that creates a reason to use Opal and Opal-colored coins. And so having some bigger name projects use it is really what's going to be key to getting it mainstream. Because at this point, the tech's already there. It's just a matter of getting people to use it.
Right, and that's where you need the out-of-the-box thinking, because there's some kind of uses that nobody has come up with yet that these could be applied to. This is like creating technology that you get this huge sense of the possibilities, but you don't know what the possibilities are.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart or the weak-minded, because it'll destroy your brain thinking about this stuff.
Yeah,
at least mine.
As James said, I'm just a simple C++ coder. The possibilities are endless, and we want people to help us think of it.
Okay. So, anything else? You got anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, thank you to the community for supporting us all the way. We've really seen it grow and people interested, so we're just really glad to have everyone.
So Lutz is asking if I put you and Flavian in the same room, you think you guys could give birth to some newer tech right live on the air?
For sure.
For sure! I love it. Oh, man, you're the best, man. That'd be great. Like blockchain enforcement.
Yeah.
That'd be really something to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we've already started to talk to him about getting him on here, so I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah, and we could make that one of the opening topic that you guys could think about beforehand and have something to bandy back and forth, and who knows what might come of that.
Yeah, and as I said, I've been emailing with him, so we're friendly.
Okay. All right, Whit, thanks so much. I don't have to tell you to keep busy, because you do that on your own. And that's just so that'll be it for tonight. Thanks again, Whit. And this is Kevondo on SuperNetRadio.com, flagship station of the SuperNet Radio Network, concluding our interview with Opal coin developer, bass guitar man, or Whit, a.k.a. bass guitar man. And, a budding young star and technology wizard in this blockchain technology and this all of this cryptocurrency stuff and the SuperNet that all of us who are involved are sure it will, revolutionize modern society in some manner or form. We're just not sure how. But we're going forward into the fog and the mist and the thought of it all. So, Kevondo out. I'll be on my regular show, the Chillax Hour. That's on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 4 o'clock. But for now, peace out.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Wick. Good night now.
All right, see ya.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye now.